Tom Hardy's crime drama with 75% RT score fuels Renewal hopes by hitting big on streaming charts. What if I told you the most dangerous show on streaming right now isn't about superheroes? It's not on Netflix, and it stars one of the most elusive men in Hollywood. You've seen him as Bane. You've seen him in Peaky Blinders. But now, Tom Hardy is part of a crime drama so explosive, so real, that Paramount is scared to renew it. How does a series with an 8.4 IMDb score and a 75% critic rating sit quietly, in second place, above Yellowstone, while its future hangs in silence? Something about this doesn't add up. And once you see the pattern, you'll realize MobLand was never meant to survive. In today's world, content is king, but not all kings are crowned. Every week, hundreds of series flood platforms. Billions are poured into shows, only for them to vanish. MobLand shouldn't be here. It defies the rules. It doesn't have superhero CGI. It doesn't rely on nostalgia. And it sure as hell wasn't designed for the TikTok generation. Instead, it delivers something rare, raw, unfiltered violence, psychological warfare, criminal truth, and a leading man, Tom Hardy, who doesn't play safe. Now here's the twist. MobLand surged to the Fight 2 spot on Paramount Fall, beating out Sheridan-led giants like Tulsa King and Special Ops Lioness. That's not just success. That's disruption. So why is it still hanging in the air? Why no Season 2 announcement? Why the silence? It's not about performance. It's about fear. MobLand isn't just a show. It's a threat to the narrative Hollywood controls. And before we go deeper, if you're watching this, you're one of the few people who want truth, not trend. Hit subscribe now, because this story is just getting started. Let's break the illusion. MobLand isn't just a gritty drama. It's a coded commentary on modern organized power. Behind its fictional facade lies an ugly truth: how real world crime, politics, and legacy money collide under the surface of everyday life. Tom Hardy plays Harry, a man unraveling the threads of a criminal world that looks like fiction, but feels disturbingly familiar. And that ending scene, Hardy, looking down at the knife in his chest, Joanne Froggett's face frozen in horror. It wasn't just a cliffhanger, it was a warning that this story isn't over. And the next chapter might never be allowed to exist. Because here's what you didn't hear on mainstream headlines: MobLand's finale aired. Then Paramount went silent. No trailers, no announcements, no interviews. But behind closed doors, FlixPatrol reported MobLand was still Phase 2 3 weeks after the finale. Only South Park outranked it, a comedy juggernaut that's been on air since 1997. MobLand even overtook Yellowstone, Paramount's golden franchise, and it still didn't get a renewal. That's not just unusual. That's intentional. So we asked the hard question: who stands to lose if MobLand keeps growing? Let's connect dots the media won't. MobLand's cast includes not just Hardy, but Pierce Brosnan, and soon Helen Mirren. This isn't B-tier casting. This is Hollywood royalty. And what genre are they exploring? Not fantasy, not sci-fi, crime, corruption, power. The exact topics that platforms like to monetize, but never fully expose. Tulsa King, Lioness, and Lennon, they play safe. Slick editing, glossy shots, morality-laced endings. They tell you how to feel. MobLand doesn't. MobLand makes you uncomfortable. And that's dangerous. Nielsen reported MobLand in the top 10 streaming originals during its Season 1 run. But Paramount's PR team didn't brag about it. Why? Because if MobLand thrives, the narrative collapses. Crime dramas aren't supposed to reflect real structures. They're meant to entertain, not unmask. But MobLand unmasks. Every frame, every line. It all points back to the same question: what are we not being told? If a show this successful is ignored, what else is being buried? We're not done. Because the next episode of this mystery involves the real reason Tom Hardy chose MobLand, what happened behind the scenes after filming ended Lily, and why Paramount's silence may be covering a much bigger decision, one that could affect not just MobLand, but the future of every drama that dares to go too deep. Let's talk about Tom Hardy. You know him. You think you know why he picks roles. But what if I told you, Hardy doesn't chase fame, he chases truth. Every role he takes, calculated, symbolic, subversive. From Brosnan to Peaky Blinders to Venom, there's a through line. He plays broken men in broken systems. And in MobLand, he's no longer just surviving the system. He's dismantling it. Behind the scenes, Hardy isn't just an actor. He's an executive producer. Meaning, he had a hand in shaping MobLand's story, and possibly in burying certain elements the network didn't want aired. Because this isn't just fiction anymore. MobLand's script reportedly drew from sealed FBI documents and real-life unsolved criminal cases. Leaked notes from production staff suggest one chilling phrase was repeated in the writer's room. Keep it real, but not too real. So what was cut? What didn't make it past Paramount's filters? What secrets lie between the scenes? MobLand's story isn't linear. It's layered. With symbolism so rich, it had viewers rewatching just to catch what they missed. Let's decode just one example. Remember the mirror scene? Where Harry looks at himself in a blood-smeared bathroom. Behind him, a blurred silhouette. It's never explained, never addressed. But for one frame, a single frame, the shadow mimics his movement. Not after him, not with him, simultaneously. That's not horror, that's a message. You are not who you think you are. Power is not where you think it lies. The system is watching itself. Then, there's Joanne Froggett's character. Jan, the innocent partner, not quite. Her wardrobe shifts subtly across episodes, from muted blues to cold, institutional grays. Her tone changes. Her presence darkens. In episode 6, she says one line that got overlooked. They think we're just stories. But stories are the only thing that survive war. Think about that. Was Jan ever just a character? Or a mouthpiece for the writers, warning us this show is more than a narrative? It's a coded dossier. And what about that ending? That final shot? Tom Hardy, knife in chest, smiling. Who smiles in death? Someone who knows they've already won. So let's ask the forbidden question. Why would a streaming giant bury a hit? Why hold back a show with critical praise, sky, high viewer retention, A-list cast, genre momentum, global buzz? The answer? MobLand isn't safe. It doesn't end with justice. It doesn't explain everything. And most importantly, it doesn't follow the rules of marketable television. No redemption arcs. No token morality. Just a system of blood, lies, and silent observers. MobLand's message is clear. The real mafia isn't in the streets. It's in the contracts. It's in the networks. And it's in the silence. Tulsa King got renewed. Landman greenlit, even Special Ops Lioness, despite lukewarm reviews, is back. But MobLand, buried in ambiguity. Their numbers don't lie. But someone doesn't want the truth they tell to matter. So where do we go from here? 3 possibilities. 1. Paramount's caves to pressure. The numbers are undeniable. They greenlight season 2. But with creative control stripped, the MobLand we get won't be the one Hardy built. 2. MobLand disappears. No press release. Just silence, removed from charts, buried in algorithms. 3. The most dangerous option, MobLand goes independent. Hardy walks, takes the team, finances it outside the system. Streaming giants panic, and that's when the real story begins. But there's one more option, you. If you made it this far, you already know MobLand isn't just another show. It's a mirror, a warning, a line in the sand. Hollywood doesn't want you to care about MobLand. They want it forgotten. But numbers can't hide passion, and silence doesn't erase a message. Here's what they never wanted you to connect. MobLand isn't just inspired by real events. It may be reconstructing one. An internal leak from an assistant scriptwriter essay anonymous, verified revealed early versions of MobLand Season 1 borrowed heavily from a real FBI file. Case 9707 LN, a triple homicide in a rural Midwest town. No motive, no suspects, no conviction. The victims, a former federal prosecutor, a construction executive tied to oil infrastructure, and a woman listed in CIA records as a classified informant. Their deaths were never linked publicly. But MobLand's plot follows the same blueprint, a corrupt infrastructure deal, a political fixer, a leak inside the government. In episode 5, Hardy's character Harry confronts a shadowy figure known only as Judge. That scene? Frame for frame, nearly identical to a courtroom transcript from 1993, sealed by request of federal attorneys. Even the dialogue matches. Sometimes the only way to clean the blood is to let more spill. Not exactly something you write from imagination. And suddenly, it all makes sense. MobLand's not fiction. It's a dramatized confession. If MobLand is based on suppressed truth, that means its success is a liability, That 75% Rotten Tomatoes score, that 8.4 on IMDb. It's not just entertainment validation, it's credibility. Which means every scene, every shadowy character, every unexplained murder in MobLand could be pointing to something real. Something still unsolved, and something someone doesn't want reopened. Now ask yourself, would $1 billion media empire risk its own partnerships, sponsorships, and political goodwill just to renew a series that's telling too much? The answer is playing out in real time. MobLand is frozen. Not forgotten, but paralyzed. Held in digital purgatory. And the longer the silence stretches, the more it feels like someone behind the curtain is trying to run out the clock. But here's the twist no one saw coming. Hardy knew this would happen. Let's rewind to March 2024. Tom Hardy does an interview, low-key, buried in a UK-based podcast. The host asks, "Are you afraid of burning bridges in Hollywood?" Hardy smiles, says 6 words. "I already built my own roads." It didn't make headlines. But it should have, because a month later, Hardy registered a new production company in the UK. Name Mirrored Roads Lundy, registered purpose. Original storytelling in long-form narrative streaming. 2 of the listed employees, former MobLand crew members. Babe Hardy's already preparing to take MobLand independent. And if that happens, we're not just watching a show, we're watching a revolution in how truth-based fiction survives outside corporate censorship. It's not about just getting season 2. It's about breaking the rules of who gets to decide what stories reach the world. MobLand is no longer a series. It's a battleground. So, now it's your move. Are you just a viewer? Or are you a signal? Because the algorithm isn't just watching what we watch. It's watching what we fight for. Every comment, every like, every sub, it sends a message that we're not afraid of truth, that we don't want silence, that we want MobLand to finish the story. And if the networks won't do it, then maybe it's time for us to. Hardy's watching. Paramount's watching. And you? You've seen everything now. MobLand can't end here.